How we going, guys? I hope you're all having a wonderful day and I hope you've had a wonderful week. If the title of this video isn't clear enough, I'm doing a video on every single spawn within MAZRAH, starting with the North Airport spawn or the Airport Hotel spawn. This is not a video for seasoned veterans. Obviously, if you've been playing DMZ for a long time, you know these spots, you know where they are, you know how they are. This is more for the new DMZ players or the players that haven't experienced the game as much and want a little bit of a head start on what to do and where to go. This has 20 spawns in it. This map, MAZRAH, has 20 spawns. It is ridiculous. MAZRAH has 20, Ashika has 6, I believe, and Vondel, I believe, has 8. It is insane, and I will be doing a video on those two maps as well, so keep an eye out. Let's get into this. This spawn is not a bad spawn. It is actually pretty good, and it doesn't get pushed all that often. At least from the 400-500 hours I've played, it does not get pushed that often. If anything, this spawn does exactly what I'm doing, and it pushes over towards the airport. Do beware that the ACT, otherwise known as the Airport Control Tower, does get pushed quite often, and snipers can and more than likely will be sitting up there watching out for anybody coming by, so be careful. I hit that UAV. It is normally always on the roof, and you can get some free information like I did on this guy. There is a bunch of loot inside the airport, and there is also a bunch of loot around the airport. There are a few spots on the roof like this that you can kind of see inside the airport from the roof. So if people are sneaking around, you can catch them out if you're lucky enough to get a good angle.
Check fire.
Up next, we have the East Suburbs. Now, this is just across the river from the airport hotel, and it's actually normally a pretty quiet spawn. I found that there is not much that goes on here. Occasionally, you will get pushed if people are pretty kill hungry. However, you're pretty well off. There is a hospital, there's a lot of shops for a lot of different loot, and there's a buy station. I always hit that buy station. I don't tend to hang around too long because, again, you can get pushed pretty easily, especially from the top spawn up there, but you're relatively safe. From here as well, you do have enough time to quickly go into the buy station, get a couple bits and pieces, get out, and the train will be right there waiting for you. This train always comes by at this spot, at this time, at this spawn, just as it did at the previous spawn at the top of this. Now, you can get on this pretty easily. You can jump in, get a bunch of loot off of that, and get out. Now, this is one of my favorite spawns in MAZRAH. It is known as the PvP spawn because normally it always gets pushed. People come here because they know a fight is going to break out. Luckily, we didn't have a fight this time. I don't know if that's lucky or not, but this was actually pretty chill. I think we had one guy and he didn't even push that hard. However, the train is here. You can grab that if you want, or you can just bolt straight past it, go into the buy station, get what you need, and hold out for the first couple minutes of the game. This will get pushed inevitably. People come looking for a hunt, and they are normally sitting on top of that roof. However, this guy wasn't. He was sitting across, and we still beamed him, but that will get pushed. We got pushed by an ATV, although I don't think we got pushed. He was kind of just passing by. This is an awesome spawn.
Activity has increased.
Now, right across from the PvP spawn is the construction spawn. It comes right underneath the highway there. Right behind you, you'll see the PvP spawn. From here, it is extremely common for people to push this building. Or like you saw last time, the guy wrapped around the corner and he actually pushed up on top of one of the other buildings. From here, you can get the high ground and you can see what's going on inside the buy station, giving you a little bit of an upper hand. They have to push you or you have to push them. Jumping down from here can cause problems on your end, so do be careful. It is a great spot to be.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate in the AO.
This next spot sits kind of between the city and Terak. It is by far probably my least favorite spawn in the entire game. I don't know why it's here. I don't know what they did and why they thought this was going to be a good spot to put someone. However, it is here and that is a fact. Now from here you can go straight to the gas station and grab a couple things, or you can, if already looted, head straight over to either the warehouse up the top, which I'll speak about next, or straight to channel 7 and get some high ground on everybody in the city.
First game on, this is going to be interesting.
We ended up pushing straight into this police station, which always has a bunch of loot, sometimes useful, sometimes not, but with the amount of computers here, you are bound to soon enough find either an encrypted hard drive or an encrypted USB. One of the two should be floating around in there if you're desperate for one and you want to kind of stay under the radar, not go to the heavy pushes and just hang out.
Rooftop squad. Ooh, just below us.
X-ray marked.
Oh, crap.
Target spotted.
Get him. This is the warehouse spawn. Not one of my favorites, but again, not exactly on the bottom of the list either. This warehouse next to you can sometimes be a stronghold, which means you can't get into it, but there is always either an LTV or a ATV right next to you. This is clutch if you need to get somewhere quick or you just want to get out of the zone before it gets pushed. From here, inside the warehouse, there is a bunch of loot. There's a bunch of chests, there's a bunch of lockers that will normally get you a medium bag or a 2-plate and some gear before you leave this spot, which is absolutely fantastic, especially if you're planning to take that vehicle and book it. Now from here, I went straight over to channel 7 and well, I ran into some trouble, but as you can see, it does get pushed pretty quickly. Terak is the next place on the map. This is actually not a too bad spot. You can, and 90% of the time will get pushed from the team that spawns over on Oasis. They will always have a vehicle of some description, or sometimes the warehouse team will jump up on that rock and try to snipe you down from there. There is a cache that spawns under that piece of machinery, and sometimes, again, it can house anything. Sometimes I've found vests in there, I've found large bags, secure bags, all sorts, kill streaks. It's great. From here, we kind of just hung out and waited to see if this team was going to push us. You can see the UTV got picked up, and they actually went away. Luckily for us, we didn't have to take that fight. But in here, there is a fair amount of bots and a fair amount of loot coming through Terak. Obviously, there is a lot of buildings and a fair amount of strongholds. We took our time, we looted up some bits and pieces, and then we just grabbed the nearest vehicle and we went on our way. South Bank Apartment key. Oh no.
Loaded AP rounds.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Oasis is the spawn just north of Terak, or just west of Terak, should I say. And if you're lucky enough, it can be a clutch spot to spawn. Depending on how many teams are over on Terak or how looted they are, you can normally get some pretty good gear. Through here, there are a few hidden caches along the rocks and in the water, so do check them out. There is also an ammo cache right there, so you can just immediately stock up on anything you're low on. Naturally, from here, we took the closest vehicle that was spawned next to us, which was this UTV. We pushed straight over to Terak and we went to see if there was anybody there. This is the most common thing for this spawn to do because it's the closest enemy, and we all know that PvP is the quickest way to regain your gear. You're gonna have to knife someone or do some quick scope maneuvers. And then push the tower. In our case, nobody popped in at this spawn, or we just couldn't find them, so we ended up heading straight through towards the city. We could have pushed the warehouse. We actually saw somebody down to the right side of us near all these construction buildings, went and followed them. I died, but it is a good little spot, especially if you're doing a lot of PvP and you can hide around. If you guys haven't seen the rotation I did in this spot, I will link a video to that somewhere. Northern Quarry is what we have next. Otherwise, it could be also the bottom of Quarry. It really depends on how you look at it. From here, you have the second top Quarry spawn that most people will end up pushing either way into the Quarry, and you'll end up having a huge fight in there. This time, I decided to avoid that, and I went straight across the road and across the train tracks over to the buy station. Buy station will normally get pushed, and Quarry will normally get pushed, depending on what happens with the teams in these areas. This was a great spot to be. It's actually a pretty decent spot to spawn as well. I don't mind it, and there's a lot of loot around the area. The shack construction building is also here. If you have that key, there is a bunch of loot inside there as well. One of the best things to look out for around this area is all the bots shooting. It is a great way to tell where enemies are and what they are doing. Now, this particular game, while I was in here, this team did actually side push buy station, and I ran around. I managed to get a wrap H somewhere in amongst all of the looting, which came in absolutely clutch. Do not look down on the LMGs. Even if they are stock, they can be a fantastic asset, as well as the dead silence. Anybody that's watched me knows I love my dead silences, and I love pushing with a dead silence because your enemy just cannot hear you at all. So keep an eye out for those, and I'll let you watch how this played out.
It's sort of the it's not a small one. It's like meat in between. It's not one that you put on your table. Because they're the small ones.
Yeah, but it's not the tall one.
It's not the tall one with the big dish on top. It's not that one.
No, it's just one of the cage renders, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, I feel like it distributes heat better than those small ones. Whoa!
What the fuck is he using? Up, wrap H, eh? Got me off there.
Whoa! On me. Yep. Down in the door. Ah, you got me. Fucking hell.
Operators will mark you as a bounty target.
Oh. Fuck, shoot me.
Fuck.
Ultra One, killing operators will put a contract on your head. Engage at your discretion.
The southwest, or the sort of top of Quarry, this spawn is really good. It gives you a bit of a height advantage amongst the other spawns and means you can get into Quarry quicker, but it also does mean that you will get pushed by the spawn just south of this on the coastline. It is a great spot to be, but you will get pushed. Now, I actually ended up coming in here partway through the game to get this footage, and there was a plea and some teams that had already made their way up through the Quarry. I don't think I made this one out alive, but it was a great spot to be, and it shows you all through the Quarry. There is a bunch of loot through there. There is a bunch of bots, so do be careful, and it can get pretty heated in this area, so be careful.
I fucking don't. Fucking don't. I'm gonna try and get ammunition so I can get smokes.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate in the AO.
The coastline spawn is a diabolical spawn. It can be awesome if you have a team or if you're just by yourself. You do have the Hav spawn right below you, which I'll talk about afterwards, but this is great. You normally take the Tav, or most people normally take that Tav. I check the toolbox there because you can always find a bomb drone. However, this Tav will take you directly up to the top area, the high point of Quarry, or it can take you completely just about anywhere you want, really. It can take you over to Hav, which can also push you sometimes from here, or I sometimes like to take it straight to the buy station and get there before anybody else does. Now, if you are not spawning here, you can get pushed very quickly from this team. Or I've also had intense sniper battles and intense fights in those buildings just where that Tav spawns. It can be a great spot or it can be a deadly spot. Be careful, have fun with it. As you can see here, somebody popped a UAV in Quarry. I actually ended up going down there, and this is where things can get hairy because you're normally fighting two different teams. Top Quarry, the bottom Quarry, and this coastline all tend to congregate within these areas and within these walls, which can make for a very, very hectic situation.
Bomb drone is up.
Objective Ivan marked. Ultra One, kill confirmed. Too many of those will put a bounty contract on your head.
Hav Port is up next, and honestly, this is a pretty good spawn if you're coming in with nothing. If you just need to loot up, the ship that is right here has a ton of loot in it. It has a bunch of chests that can spawn either normal or orange, and you can get a ton of loot out of this place. Chests, bags, self-reses, guns, all sorts. It is an awesome place to be, and it is a great spot to loot up. Fortunately, we already had a bunch of loot on us, and we were fully geared coming into this raid, so we didn't need to hit that. However, we did grab this rib, and we headed straight over to the coastline spawn. Sometimes you can catch them before they get in the Tav, but very rarely. We ended up going all the way through Quarry and continued our journey from there.
Huh. I actually haven't been there in a while.
Said City is one of those mid-ground spawns. We do have a helo right next to us in this particular video, which was really clutch actually. As we're the closest to this, you can also have another helo spawn just off to the side of the bridge there. But if you spawn here, it's very easy to get there. You'll be there first and it's extremely quick to get in and get out. Now, if you're coming in absolutely bare bones, there is a bunch of stuff in that city. It does get pushed, but not for a hot minute. Normally, whoever's fighting down in Sawa Village will fight first, and then they'll make their way over here for some more PvP. Luckily, I didn't have that problem. I got straight in the helo. I could show you a bit of an aerial view of this area. Once I did that, I went straight over to Sawa Village, and you'll see me deal with some snipers on the boat. I didn't get the win. I did, in fact, take the L on this one, and it is okay because you can't always win every single game, and you don't need to be worried about losing your gear. You can come in, everything is replaceable, you can always get more, and you can always have fun. Just south of Said City, you have Sawa West, or it's kind of pretty close to the cemetery as well. So, you know, pick and choose what do you want to call it. But this is a pretty good spawn. Like I said, there's the helo that spawns on the bridge, or we can head straight down to the buy station, and you will normally end up having to fight the boat team. Whichever team spawns on that boat, you'll have to end up fighting them eventually, unless they decide to run through Sawa Village and completely ignore you. We actually ended up getting pushed by the boat team and another team that came through and pinched us. Didn't make it out of this one alive. It was a very, very quick raid for us, and well, I'll let you see how that played out.
Enemy threat is moderate near your location.
Oh my god, yeah, that immediately fucked us both. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get a proper clip of this spawn at the boat. However, you do have the east spawn and you do have the west spawn of Sawa Village. And of course, you have the Said spawn to worry about if they decide to push you. This particular clip was taken from my full video of I ran through MAZRAH doing an entire raid using nothing but night vision goggles. And I decided this after I found a pair. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description, and I will put a little card up the top right here. Now, this spawn is pretty good. There is a bunch of loot in this boat, and there is a bunch of stuff you can get out. The only thing you really need to worry about here in the spawn is bots and the west side of Sawa Village. That spawn can come over here. They sometimes do, but more often than not, they will sit and they will camp either the buy station or one of the buildings just next to it. What happened to all the lockers that used to be in here?
There. I don't know.
What, those people?
Yep, there is people there. What rounds do you use for your hemlock?
They got 3 plates. There's multiple in there for us, be careful.
LOL. LOL. You hear that, Jinx?
One's down.
You already said.
You can. 3000. Skeudal. Hey.
Sawa East is the next one in this area. It's a bit of an annoying spawn. You kind of sandwiched between an arseload of bots as soon as you get in here. It's not great. You can take the rib or one of the cars that is immediately next to you. But, you know, if you're not, then just be aware that you're going to have a bunch of bots looted up, ready to go right in front of you. What I've found from this particular spawn is most people that land here will push straight over to the boat, or they will push directly over to the right end and they will grab the people over at the lighthouse, or you kind of just never hear from them and they just disappear. Like I said before though, do be careful and do be prepared, because the bots here are relentless and they do not give up, and there is a lot of them. However, some of them do have some pretty good gear. We're still got to go see Reese and his cats.
Sure.
Oh, the cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's someone still here on this boat. Hearing mad footsteps.
Could be a bot.
No, I got an operator ping.
Oh, you're wearing comms vest.
Pushing straight over to the boat from this one can be kind of a good move, although unfortunately I was pinched and I got pushed by the 3-man that was already here. I think they came back from the buy, or it was the people at the buy that came over. Anyway, I died. It was horrible. It was horrendous. I thought I stood a good chance, but no, I got absolutely sniped in the head. So if you do decide to come over and push this boat, be aware that you may have to fight another team.
Targeting operators will put a bounty on your head. Enemy operators are
Now, number 18 on the list is the Lighthouse I was just talking about. We call this the Lighthouse, well, because it is a lighthouse. You're pretty secluded on this one little island. You can go over to the Albagra Fortress and grab the helo if it's there, or there's normally an armored boat or a rib or something around the area here for you to take. It's not a great spawn. It's one of my least favorites. I would say the mid area between Terak and the city is my least favorite, and then this is probably a close second right next to that one. I kind of came through this mid-game, so there was already people that had busted through here. There is a volatile decoy grenade, which you need for one of the beginning missions. If you're looking for that, that's where it is. It is violently loud, and it does do a job of a decoy. Now, from here, you can sometimes get pushed by the Sawa West spawn if they've got a UTV. In this particular instance, because I was mid-raid, I ended up jumping straight over to the center of all the city buildings up here at Sarif Bay, and we ended up fighting a team. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of great loot in the island, but if you do decide to come inland to Sarif Bay, you can more often than not find some loot in here for yourself or your teammates. I lost the guy that was up there.
Ah, yeah, because he's below me. I killed him.
Ooh, yeah, there's someone sniping from behind as well.
Yep.
I have so many bots on me, it's not funny. If you guys have made it this far in the video, let me know what your favorite spawn so far is. This is the next one up on the airport hill. You do have to fight the team next to the airport base, which is just on the airstrip there. Normally, you will have to fight them at the ACT. This is pretty common. I like to run through these buildings really quick, especially if I'm not already looted, to find some gear, or like I did, find an extra self-res. Now, whoever gets to that control tower first normally has the high ground, and if you bring a sniper, it is a fantastic spot to hold, unless, you know, they have jokers or drill chargers, or they are an absolute ninja and can get up there and kill you. In this particular instance, I didn't have to fire anybody, there was nobody around, but the guy that spawned down on the airstrip did one fatal mistake, and that was he left the door open to the airport area. Now, I saw the shots, and then as I was flying down, I saw that the door was open, so I knew somebody was in here. If you do this, be careful, you can get found out, but there is a shit ton of good loot inside that area. Oh, hey.
put a contract on your head. Engaging your
And to bring us full circle, we are indeed at the base of the airport on the airstrip. From here, again, it's either ACT, get into that tower before somebody else, or going straight into the airport and getting a bunch of loot. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. If you are new to DMZ, I hope this was a helpful video and a informational video for you. I know to a lot of people, DMZ seems pretty dead right now, as it's the same thing over and over again. But if you guys are enjoying my content, if you guys are enjoying what I do, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that like button. And if there's anything you guys want to see me do, or you guys are curious about, leave it in the comments, leave it in my Discord if you are in there, and I hope to see you guys later on. I love you all. Thank you very much for getting me this far. I hope to go further. I want to get that 100k subscriber plaque one day, but for now, I'll catch you all later. Have a good day.
Take an effective fire.